Harish Kalyan from Ring IQ TV. I'm joined by Alexander Martinez, the business partner and a long-term friend of Andy Ruiz Jr. 25 years, right, Alexander? You've known Andy for?
Yeah, we grew up since, we were both like 6, 7 years old. So it's kind of been a childhood thing for us. Good people right here.
Right. And was Andy boxing at the time you met him? How did
Yeah,
you
he
meet him?
was. Always as a kid. A lot of people don't know this, but he used to be called the Golden Destroyer before he was just the Destroyer, probably in
Right.
his younger years. But
Okay.
yeah, he's always been the big kid who boxed.
Wicked. So obviously, for the viewers that don't know, you're his business manager. Is that
Yeah, I
in and
mean,
out of boxing or
yeah, predominantly out of the boxing scene, more of the business side of things. I bring opportunities to him to the table, and we figure out if it's a good, market for his brand, and sponsorships, events, different outside businesses. Because he has his hands dipped in a lot of different things. Predominantly, he's done, real estate. So, he wanted to kind of broaden his profiles to maybe other businesses besides real estate. And, so we have some things in the works. And also, just some of the marketing deals, sponsorships for fights and, social media ads, stuff like that.
wicked? Do you get involved with much of the matchmaking side of things and selecting opponents and writing up contracts and advising Andy himself?
Not so much on the boxing side of things. He has his attorney. He has Al Heyman and his father. They kind of three-head monster most of the deals. So even though he's left PBC, I know he's still signed with Al Heyman as his advisor. So they do a lot of the things based on what he thinks is best for Andy's career and path towards, becoming a two-time champ again.
Definitely. Now, obviously, touching on that today, there's been so many rumors, so many reports that Andy Ruiz's next opponent will be Tyson Fury
Mm-hmm.
in the UK in, I believe, June or July. Is there anything you know about that?
I mean, there's been talks of it. I know Andy has been trying to get a big opponent, him or Wilder, anybody of those calibers to, take a step forward in competition and also, have a chance to compete with the best of the best again. So I know Fury's definitely been in the talks, but these things with boxing take a little bit longer, especially the championship belts and, these big fights that most fighters, take as a really risky fight against Andy because of the caliber of fighter he is and his style doesn't match up well with some other styles in the heavyweight division.
And also, obviously, Andy fought last year against Luis Ortiz. Um, he's pretty much it was a good display against Ortiz. How do you think he'd actually match up against Tyson Fury? And do you know if there's actually been talks with Tyson Fury's team to get that fight on?
Yeah, there's definitely been some conversations between the two, but in essence, it also comes down to the kind of the big players, which are Al Heyman on our side and Bob Arum on the other side. So Bob Arum knows Andy very well. He used to fight for Top Rank before he signed with PBC and Al Heyman. So there is a little bit of a relationship, and he knows what kind of fighter Andy is. So there's an easy familiarity between the two. And then the bridge that George Capatillo gives Andy and Tyson is also a strong factor in the communication and how they could easily get this fight done.
So it's not actually confirmed. Um, is it close to being confirmed? Is there something you're not telling us? Is there something you know?
I mean, at the end of the day, none of these fights are ever confirmed until they're actually really confirmed by everybody. And I mean, the fighters now announcing them. So, I'd say stay tuned. The fight is, there's going to be a big fight, whether it's Fury or Wilder. But I think right now in the lead is Fury, and we're closer to hopefully putting this fight together. And come summertime, the Mexican takeover in the UK will happen.
And also, is it just them two names that you're talking to at the moment?
I
Wilder
mean,
and Fury, are there any others?
predominantly, Andy doesn't want to stagnate his fight options. He's trying to push forward with the best of the best. I know Joshua has been mentioned again, and there's definitely some unfinished business there. But it's boxing. That's all I can really say. At the end of the day, these guys take a long time, especially in this heavyweight division, to get another fight locked in and picking the opponent. I mean, you've seen all the hype that was built behind Joe Joyce and what happened to him last week. So, there's a very fine line between it being confirmed and almost confirmed. So I think we should wait until some of these announcements get finalized by the boxers. And, I think that's the real news.
Absolutely. And stylistically, how do you think Andy matches up?
I mean,
Obviously, he's
I think
not.
honestly, the size difference is going to be the biggest advantage for Fury. I think the boxing skills and the hand speeds are, in my opinion, a little bit leaning towards Andy. As long as Andy, which I know he will, come in the right size and like condition, then I think we got a good chance on getting the victory.
In terms of size, do you think Andy was the right size in the first Joshua fight? A bit too big in the second fight, um, but a bit too small in the Areola fight. Where do you think his weight is best for
Yeah,
him?
I mean, he's good. I think he's at a good weight when he's around 255 to 265. Because I don't know if you've seen the build that he's kind of come into over the last couple of years based on his new nutrition and workout styles. He's put on a lot more muscle than he has fat. So his arms are more defined. He's a bigger guy. He's stronger. Um, so I think the weight will look a little different, even if the number is a little higher, because he's packed on a lot more muscle than that first Joshua fight. The second Joshua fight, he came in too heavy. It was hard to get a consistent workout routine with him being dragged all over the country for press conferences and TV shows and whatnot. But I think the Areola fight, he came in at a good weight, but I think he wasn't used to fighting full gear at that weight, and he wasn't as fluid because it was a new trainer, it was a new boxing coach, boxing style that they were trying to work on with him, and it just he ended up getting clipped. But I think the last fight against Ortiz was a good weight because it showed that he can sustain a big left with that weight behind him, and he can still deliver that punch with that weight behind him. So I think the last fight was his best weight and style because it showed that he can take and deliver. And in the heavyweight division, that's a crucial part of it.
Most definitely. I mean, personally, I think he was. I think that was a great performance, and probably his best weight that he's been at. Is that the type of weight you'd like to see him fight against Fury at?
Yeah, I think
A similar
he
weight
has
to the Ortiz one.
to be able to be a little bit more elusive, because that jab I know is going to be consistent, but if he can find a way to get past the jab and get inside, I don't think Fury has the power to take him out.
Okay, so you think he'll sustain Fury's shots?
I do.
Yeah.
Andy got an iron chin. He's never been knocked out. The two times the first time he got knocked down in his entire career was against Joshua, and he took some huge shots. That shot would have ended most people in the heavyweight division. The thing is, he never caught Usyk with that shot. So, you can't say what Usyk would have done if he got caught with a shot like Andy did. It's the comeback when he fell that, he was able to sustain even a couple big shots after he got up. So I don't think Fury's going to be able to land a clean big shot on him like that. Fury's more of a rabbit style puncher. So I think it's a good style fight for Andy. And from what I've noticed is Andy does well with larger heavyweights.
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been slating this fight, and it's not the fight they wanted to see. Um, but Fury has struggled against shorter opponents, such as Otto Wallin. His shots came up under Fury's nose.
Yes,
Also, Steve Cunningham years ago, that was another smaller opponent. So maybe Andy Ruiz will have a bit of success in this fight, and the overhands they could connect. And I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if he
he's a
could.
counter puncher.
Yeah,
He likes to be a counter puncher, and I think for him, he can be aggressive as well. So I feel like he's pretty well balanced when it comes into to those two approaches to a game plan. But Fury's a lot different than a lot of these other heavyweights. His footwork, his speed, his size. He has movement. So there's gonna be adjustments because Fury's not the type of fighter where you just go out and fight and stick to the exact same game plan. You're gonna have to make adjustments to whatever Fury's doing, and you know try to get that big punch. You've seen him get hurt with Wilder. I think it could happen again.
do you think Andy has more success against Fury than he does Wilder, or the other way around?
I think he has more success against Wilder because Wilder doesn't have as much boxing skill as Andy, in my opinion. And Andy could take the punch. I'm not saying he could take Wilder's right hand because that's a bold statement, but I think he can slip that punch enough to not get caught and get knocked out like every other
Well, I hope to see it. Obviously,
guy. Yeah, man,
the
I'm
talks are
excited.
Wembley in the UK, so it would be absolutely massive. And I'm
Mhm.
sure he'll bring a lot of support with him as well. A lot of Mexican fans, a lot of
Yeah,
American fans.
there's been a lot of people have already been reaching out to me. I'm going to the Tank and Ryan fight this weekend, so there's a lot of big energy behind that. So it's good to be around, some of these big fights, hopefully getting made. Of course, everybody wants to see the undisputed with Usyk and Fury, but those fights aren't always easy to get made. So I think if there's a fight in the summer and another fight in the winter, that's the way to go. And Usyk could fight the winner of the Andy fight.
Absolutely. Just moving on. Obviously, you've just mentioned the super fight tomorrow night between Tank and Ryan Garcia. Now, I know you
Mm-hmm.
work with champion underscore motoring on Instagram, and you'll be providing Javante with a car tomorrow. And you've done some
Yeah,
work.
a
Work,
longtime friend and client of the
yeah,
owner, and so yeah, we're going out there. Me and the owner of the shop. We provide like a boutique concierge service for a lot of celebrities and athletes and whatnot. So we're dropping off a car to Javante. I can't say what it is yet. It's kind of private and exclusive, but
that was going
uh,
to be
you,
my next question.
yeah, one of these cameras are gonna get him pulling into it, and let's just say it's a beautiful car, and it'll be matte black. So just look out. You're gonna see Javante
Right.
pulling up, and he'll probably come also in the Rhino. There's a black tank that he rolled up in last time that we
Okay.
sold him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, we do. You know, we do from Floyd Mayweather there to Haney to Andy. A
That's
bunch of
amazing.
baseball. So if anybody needs anything, where to go to car dealership in the United States.
Absolutely. And what are your thoughts on that fight? What are your predictions? How do you see it going down?
Honestly, I
Honestly.
think that I think Tank is gonna win it. I like Ryan. He's from San Diego. I think what he's doing for the sport with the mix of social media is great. I just think that Tank has a little bit more experience in these bigger fights, and Tank is also the more, I guess, kind of knockout artist. He's going to lure him in at some point, and they're going to get in some exchanges because Ryan, I think, isn't going to be able to resist him because Tank will leave some openings, and Tank's going to end up catching him. And I'm not saying he's going to knock him out, but I'm saying that he's going to end up catching him, and that'll be the decision factor where it's a knockout or if they're going to kind of base the fight on that round or what happened with that. But I
So
got Tank.
now
I got Tank in 8.
in eight. Cool. And
In 8.
obviously you're in San Diego. Are you from San Diego?
Yeah, I've been up here for like 15, 16 years. But me
Right.
and Andy, we grew up in Imperial Valley, which
Okay.
is a couple hours away from San Diego. So,
Right. And
mhm.
have you spoken to anyone else about this fight? So, for example, Eddie Reynoso, um, Canelo, anyone from that gym, and what are their thoughts on this fight?
On the tank fight,
Yeah.
I mean, I know we haven't discussed anything together with them, but I think I seen in an interview Canelo said he got Tank, which I think that's a strong pick. I do know that Andy's picking Ryan. He's gonna put the money on Ryan, so
Wow.
he says he has a good feeling that he's gonna be able to withstand Tank's punch, and
I
we'll
mean,
see.
Ryan is good odds on points, which I was quite surprised about. Um, not it going points, but the odds that they were given. So it's like 5 to 1. So if you put $100 on them, you get 500 back. But it's
Yeah, I mean,
crazy. It should be
the
good though.
promotion. Honestly, I've been around a lot of fights over the last few years, and the promotion on this thing has been incredible. From trash talk to whatever bet that they have, what the purse is. So it's exciting. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. I know tickets are going for
Crazy.
$15,000 closer to the ring. So hopefully it lives up to the hype. So,
Absolutely. Right. I just want to thank you for your time. Obviously, it's the
mhm.
first time you've been on Ring IQ TV. And I hope to see you when you're in the when you're in the UK for
Yeah, man.
Fury
Hopefully
Ruiz.
some good news soon.
100%. Take care and enjoy the fight tomorrow night.